Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Baron here. So let's talk patch 1.37, the upcoming patch. Now why? Well, because the dev server has been updated. It is currently at patch 1.36, and as we've generally experienced, we get the odd patches, and the even patches are more for alpha testing, and kind of lead you to believe that the dev server will be up soon, and then subsequently to that, the new patch will be released. So, of the topics we're going to talk about today, I want you to keep in mind that for the majority of these things, they are rather speculative. There's only one component so far that has been officially announced and supported, and we'll talk about that. But what we will be talking about are new planes, new maps, and finally, new tank sounds. Now, with regards to new planes, there are a few that have been thrown around, and these come from data mining the files that have been uploaded to the, I guess, the dev component of War Thunder. And people have found files for the Yak-9U, P-51B, Focke-Wulf 190D11, and then there's some early tier MiG-3s as well. If you've found some others, or if you've heard about them, please let us all know in the comments. But as far as those planes, all of them are speculative save for the Yak-9U, which has been officially confirmed on the War Thunder forums by one of the developers. So pretty cool with regards to that, and it's likely going to be a pretty major patch. There's been talk, and most people have speculated that there will be one other major aircraft patch prior to tanks. And so while this patch probably won't be tanks, I got my fingers crossed for it, we can expect, I think, a pretty good number of new planes as well as flight model changes. There have been a lot of changes to flight models, and even talk about accessibility of the mighty Poe 2, which I would love to see. So who knows, but if you've heard anything, let us all know. Now, with regards to new maps, there have been a few names thrown around. I was not able to search the files myself, however, some people on the forums did have screenshots of new maps. One of which is the Karelia or Karelian Forest. Now, this was also the map, I believe, that was used on the Igramir tank footage that we've all seen. So that small map where planes and tanks were playable together, supposedly, is one of the new maps. The other two that I've heard thrown around are Kamenez and Wassen, I believe. Wassen or Wassen, depending if you're German or not, I guess. I'm assuming it's German pronunciation, because it's a little more fun that way. But it's possible that we have a tank map coming in, but why would there be a tank map if we couldn't play tanks? Or why would there be a tank map because we can play tanks? So, let the speculation start circling there. Now, as far, if you haven't seen my past tank sound videos, you should check them out, because I'm only going to show the files that I either did not cover, or that there are now new files, sound files. And I found a couple. The first is for the 20mm TNSH. Now, this is the tank variant of the Schwach 20mm Russian cannon, which was often placed on the T-38 and the T-60. And now we have the 7.5 centimeter KWK-40, which was the main gun for most Panzer IVs and Stug 3s that were not armed with the assault guns or the howitzers. Now we have the 85mm ZIS C-53 or ZIS S-53. Now this was armed on some Su-85s. It was armed on some T-34-85s. It was also armed on the T-44. And another interesting thing was that this gun was also armed on one of the Joseph Stalin III prototypes. The one that did not have the hemispherical or rounded turret, which ended up being the trademark of the IS-3 tank, as well as most later Soviet main battle tanks. Now we have the 100mm D10T, and this was the main cannon for the T54, some variant, the SU-100, which used a variant of the D10T or the D10S, and then finally one of the IS-4 prototypes. And now finally, rounding this out, we have the 122mm D25T, which was the main gun for the IS-2 and used on the SU-122 using the 122 D25S, or a variant of the D25T. So those sounds sounded pretty amazing. The level of quality of audio that War Thunder is putting into this game is pretty impressive. Also of interest, I was not able to open the files, but I did find them. There are Russian and English, basically tank sound files for crew members. Basically, when you're saying, oh, my right track is damaged, my turret's damaged, my turret's jammed, we're on fire, things like that. There are sound files for those currently on the dev server right now. So who knows if we're going to get tanks. Fingers crossed for that. I would love to see it. Also, keep in mind this is speculative, and once the dev server becomes available, you may ask yourself, hey, Baron, how do I find out when the dev server is available? I check the forums, and I also check the War Thunder subreddit, both communities I highly encourage you to get involved with, as it's pretty good source of information and discussion for the most part. And finally, when I get on it, I will be having footage. So if you want to know what will be on the dev server and what is going to be patched into 1.37 when it becomes available, which may not be soon, it may be a few days or weeks away, or if you're checking in the future and it's already out, check the video description below, as that's where I will upload links to the videos I put out regarding information applicable to patch 1.37. and all the new features and vehicles that we will get to experience. Anyway, check back and make sure to subscribe. And if you're as excited for tanks as I am, you know what to do. I'm Baron, and as always, thank you for watching. Alright, now we're going to hear the 50mm KWK, and this thing was fitted most predominantly on the Panzer III Ausführung L, or variant L, and we have a pretty nice screenshot for that.